As a mortgage loan officer, loan originator, mortgage broker, whatever you want to call it, have you ever lost your mojo where it was just like, you just did not want to do another loan, right? Well, I lost my mojo 100% in 2022 and I got it back. And so what I wanted to do is kind of tell you guys what I've learned, let's just say. And so this is Loan Officer Mindset. I'm Garrick Werdmuller, and I'm a mortgage broker with Fresh Home Loan out in Alameda, California. And this is my first episode, pilot episode of Loan Officer Mindset, as I'm calling it. Everyone's doing all these cool podcasts and things, and I've been learning a lot of stuff. I think I have a lot to give to the industry, so I thought I'd just throw it out there in this format that you are watching. Thank you very much for watching this, by the way. So, let's talk about 2022, right? 2022 sucked really bad if you're a loan originator. You can really only compare it to the years of 7 to 9, which were all pretty bad. I'd say 9 maybe ended a little better, but for me, the crash really started in 07 back then. So anyway, quick background on where I'm going with all this. What you see behind me is my amazing brokerage, Fresh Home Loan, which I opened in 2021. I actually did a 10 steps to opening a mortgage brokerage. You can check out as well a video I did if you're curious. But anyway, I did it in 2021. It wasn't easy. Height of refi mania, still height of the pandemic. I had to go to Sacramento, DRE, instead of Oakland, which is kind of like right down the street from me, right? I had to drive 2 hours. Stayed the night one time to take a test, etc. So it was very interesting times. When rates started to go up in 2022, I think we were all really burnt, right? When rates started going up, I think we were all kind of tired. Q1, Q2 of 2022, and things were just funky. But what made it even funkier for me is my mom passed away on February 28th, 2022, and that just sucked. And I'll say, we had all kinds of it sucked. And I think the bigger part of it wasn't just like me, I miss my mommy, but like in my soul, I was just alone. My dad died 7 days before my first Father's Day, and it was like a really shitty death. And then my mom passed away, and they didn't talk for years, and I had a great upbringing, but then my family life kind of sucked after they got divorced and everything. So I'm not gonna go there with you guys. I just want you to know, in my soul, I was all alone, right? And I was, everything was up to me, and I just did not I couldn't go after loans. It wasn't in my heart and soul at all. I just didn't, it's like I didn't know what to do. It's like I forgot how to ride a bike. You know what I mean? And maybe I didn't forget how to ride a bike. I just didn't want to, and I knew I had to. I took the month of March off pretty much. I drank a lot and was in a very dark place, I will say, that I'm not in today, for the record. At the time, I had one contract processor. She was the bomb. And, I do want to say, too, in fact, my mom is was born Patricia Ann Hunt. She was later Patricia Ann Werdmuller and remarried to be Patricia Ann McKay. In my mind, my mom is Patty Werdmuller. That's who she was when I was growing up. And I really miss you, Mom, and I love you. And this is dedicated to you, my friend. And again, through COVID, right? We couldn't see her because she's older and had health issues. It was just weird. So anyway, my mood was funky. Then come May 1, right? I was kind of jamming through, and I was still cashing checks. We still had some business, March and April. And then May 1, I wake up and I'm like, dude, there's no loans in the pipeline. In broker land, I was just not ready to call realtors or do I just wasn't. I thought I was going to do it, and I didn't do it. Let's just say that. And so one thing I did is I hired a dialer who was bringing in leads. He's got his own company and stuff, so I was basically paying for his leads, and that actually worked out quite well. And I had this idea to go after divorce and go after BKs because those people need loans. If you're chapter 13, I want to say, and once that closes, you still have a house and you can actually cash out with different loan types. And so I was going after those guys and divorces, and it turned out to be, I've never gotten more hate than my divorce marketing campaign. So I was just like, that made me even feel worse. And so through the fall, man, I don't know. I thought I was doing good, but I was doing really shitty, if I may say so. So, you know, really, and I'm like the one that has to provide for my family, and I'm 100% commission. I don't have that, you know, salary or anything like that. And my company that I worked so hard all my life to build is dying. You know what I mean? It was like, ugh, not good. So, October, I didn't even close a loan, and then like I closed 3 in November and 1 in December, and so business was just really bad. And then moving into the January, it got worse. But we did we had this really fancy trip to Tahoe. We were gonna eat at Hell's Kitchen. We had this Marriott timeshare that was already paid for that we had to use because of like points through the 2020 pandemic and all that. So we were going to Tahoe for this fancy trip that was supposed to be all cool, but when the money's not coming in, it got expensive. And then, we got snowed in due to the atmospheric river, right? It was just dumping buckets of snow on December 31st when we were supposed to leave. And so we were trapped there, or like stuck there, and stayed at this timeshare again, but we paid a lot of money to stay that extra night that obviously we weren't really planning on spending. So all these expenses just added up, and it was just like swipe, you know, to get us through. Then I come back, I have COVID. I was thinking of kicking butt. I was thinking I was going to come back on December 31st, and we're going to have this quiet little New Year's at home, watch the ball drop after a fun little fancy Tahoe trip. But we're all sick besides my daughter. And so like I thought I was just gonna be like, I'm going at it on January 2nd. I'm gonna, you know, be working when my competition's hungover and all this stuff. And I was sick in bed for 10 days. And so finally got out of it. Throughout this whole time though, so I was in this funk, right? And in November, I was doing my goals over the Thanksgiving holiday. I actually came into my office at like 7 in the morning. I want to say, if it wasn't Black Friday, it was the Saturday. But I did my goals, listen to this Brian Tracy thing. It was a really good time. But my 2 goals were really be consistent. That means keep your mind clear and make your call and hang out with people that were better than you. And I didn't know what that meant. I will say throughout this whole time, a record label I had started, I was really into, which is Fresh Cut Wax, freshcutwax.com. Check out Renegades Worldwide, the 5-1-Hero. Those are my brands. And then Frank Garay's band is on there, Young Beard. And Frank Garay's a buddy of mine, famous dude, right, from Think Big, Work Small back in the day and all that. Now he's a mortgage marketing animal. So he contacted me. We were chit-chatting about stuff all through the end of 2022, and he was a mortgage marketing animal, which is this coaching program, and he's doing this thing on Zoom called Loan Officer Breakfast Club. So you can Google that stuff if you're a loan officer and you want to check it out. But I was on there and watching these guys, and it was really like, I know Carl White. Carl White's amazing, but he was kind of like Carl White's kind of like a lone celebrity type guy, like a Barry Habib, if you will, or one of those guys, right? And so it wasn't as relatable to me as when I saw Steve Kyles, who's just like a guy who's a little bit younger than me, who's just crushing it. I assume he's a little bit younger. And crushing it, and I'm like I've screwed up on staffing and different things I feel like are, let's just say like timing was never right on a lot of things I wanted to do as far as my growth in the mortgage industry, and maybe my systems, etc., weren't in place. And what I realized was this group, Carl White's done everything I want to do. And I'm like, dude, the answers are all right here. So I did join the Mortgage Marketing Animals. That's not a plug, or it is a plug if you want. Yeah. But the point is, it's really helped me out. But the point is, I had to take massive action. So long story short, I'm not out of the weeds yet, but it's April 23rd. I joined them in January, end of January, January 18th. I want to say I paid for it, but I didn't really get up and running till mid-February. But if you see all those manila folders in that window back there, those are all my loans. And there's like 14 to 17 manila folders. And I had one loan when I started at the end of January. One loan in the pipe, and just with the systems they taught me. And because I'm with a group that's like helping me be motivated, I'm just way better. But one thing I know is I listen to all this stuff all the time about motivation and like going to work, gotta get pumped up. But I'll tell you what, there is no magic pill to get you motivated. I sound like that dude in Fat Albert, right, back in the day. Anyway, there's no magic pill. Your mojo, like when you lose your mojo, you need to like be out there and be with your peers in the mortgage industry. But I'll tell you what really will get your mojo going is just making a sale, like getting out there and doing the activities, and it creates dopamine. And dopamine, the definition of dopamine, it's a neurotransmitter and hormone, and it plays a role in many important body functions, including movement, memory, and pleasurable reward and motivation. So I'll tell you what, you can sit and feel sorry for yourself all day long, but until you actually take massive action and train yourself to take massive action, nothing's gonna happen for you. And if you think you can't change, this is a really cool example, is Jim Carrey. When he made Man on the Moon, he became Andy Kaufman. Like for that 4 months, he was Andy Kaufman. He was no longer Jim Carrey. I forget what it's called, but it's when you're you play a role or a character, and you just are that character until the movie's over. He was Andy Kaufman, and all the other characters, like that asshole guy, all these other characters that Andy Kaufman had. So Andy Kaufman would be in those characters like that, and so Jim Carrey to be Andy Kaufman was like that. The point is, when the movie was over and it was time for Jim Carrey to be Jim Carrey, he didn't know how to be Jim Carrey anymore because he was Andy Kaufman now. So just think about that. You can change, your mind can change, and it can change very quickly. So I just want you to know that. That's my story. We'll see how it turns out, but I think it's gonna go really good. Like I say, I went from 0 to 14, let's call it, in 90 days. And really I wanted to, but I also had the people to get me there, and you have to have both. And so that's my point today. I am looking to recruit, I will say, as a shameless plug, and also check out freshcutwax.com. That's my record label. Get out there and crush it, everybody. Do good things. Remember, it's about helping people first and making that money second. Fresh Home Loan, independent mortgage brokers that work for the people. I'm out. Peace.